Your plant wilted this afternoon, so you watered it. And tomorrow morning it wilted again. Here is the thing nobody tells you about heat waves. Wilting does not always mean your plant is thirsty. Sometimes it means your plant is smarter than you think. And watering it at the wrong moment is making the problem worse, not better. In extreme heat, plants do something surprising. They let their leaves droop on purpose. A drooping leaf has less surface area facing the sun. Less surface area means less water lost through evaporation. It is not a cry for help. It is a survival response. So before you reach for the hose, do one thing. Check again at 7 in the evening. If your plant has perked back up by then, the soil is probably fine. If it is still drooping after the sun goes down, that is when you act. This single check will save you from overwatering more plants than you realize. Here is what most gardeners do during a heat wave. They see a wilting plant at noon. They water it. The water hits hot, dry soil and runs straight off the surface. The roots get almost nothing. And if water lands on the leaves in full sun, most of it simply evaporates before the plant can use it. In some plants, wet leaves can also invite disease later, especially if they stay damp into the evening. The soil in a heat wave does something most people do not expect. When it dries out completely, it hardens, and hardened soil repels water instead of absorbing it. So the answer is not more water, it is slower water, deeper water at the right time. Early morning is best. The soil is still cool enough to absorb it. The roots get a long drink before the heat begins. If morning is not possible, early evening works too, but always at the base of the plant, never overhead. Not in this heat. If you have plants in pots, they are in the most danger right now. Garden soil insulates itself. A pot does not. In 40-degree heat, a dark pot can become far hotter than the air around it. The roots inside have nowhere to escape. Move your containers into shade this week. Even a few hours out of direct afternoon sun makes a real difference. Group them together if you can. Pots clustered together lose moisture more slowly than pots sitting alone in the sun. And put a saucer underneath, not to leave them sitting in water permanently, but to catch what drains through and let the pot draw it back up slowly. If there is one thing worth doing in your garden this week before anything else, it is this. Put mulch around your plants. 2 or 3 inches of it, around the base, not touching the stem. Mulch does not just look tidy. In a heat wave, it keeps the soil underneath noticeably cooler. It slows down evaporation dramatically, and it gives the water you do add somewhere to go instead of disappearing into hot air within the hour. Compost, bark, even cut grass left to dry slightly, whatever you have. Do it today if you can, because the plants that come through this week the best are almost always the ones sitting on cool, covered soil. This is the part that surprises most people. During a heat wave, some of the most damaging things you can do are things that are normally good for your garden. Do not fertilize right now. Fertilizer pushes growth. Growth needs water. Water is scarce. You are asking your plant to build a new room while the house is already on fire. Do not do any heavy pruning. Every cut is a wound. Wounds need energy to heal. Your plant does not have energy to spare this week. And do not transplant anything. Moving a plant tears roots. Torn roots in this kind of heat is almost always fatal. Wait until the weather breaks. Your garden will thank you for doing nothing. One more thing. If you are rationing water this week, your lawn is the last thing on the list. Grass goes brown in a heat wave. It looks dead. It feels like a crisis. It is almost never actually dead. Grass has been going dormant in summer heat for thousands of years. It comes back when the rain returns. Your roses, your vegetable patch, your new plantings, your containers cannot recover the way grass can. So if you have to choose where the water goes, choose them first. The lawn will forgive you. Your garden has survived heat waves before, long before garden centers existed, long before hoses and sprinklers and weather apps. It survived because plants are far more resilient than they look on a bad afternoon in July. But they do need you to work with them this week, not against them. Tell me in the comments, where are you gardening right now? And what does the heat feel like this week? I read every single one. If this is the kind of thing your garden needed to hear, subscribe. There is much more where this came from. I will see you in the next one.